Hey everybody, Reef here. How y'all doing? This looks kind of like a mess, but all my 3D printing stuff took over with the last video making the frag rack, as you could probably imagine. However, today I wanted to talk about a new topic. So every time I see corals posted online, I see these beautiful photos which are lacking the blue tint. They look more natural, more like what your eye would see. The actinic is all cut out. At first I was thinking, man, people are really editing their photos really well. And then at one point in the past, I was at a local fish store and I saw people using a DSLR camera to take pictures of corals, which are expensive, and I honestly at the time had no money for. With that in mind, I really wanted to be able to replicate those photos at home. So if you want to take photos like this or this of your corals, this video is for you. The first step to doing that is to cut out the blue light, which you don't need a DSLR camera to do. You need a filter to do that. If you can, you need to get an 85B orange filter. With that orange filter, you can apply it to your smartphone, you can apply it to your DSLR, you can apply it to point and shoot, any camera you have. That filter will help cut out the aquarium's blue light. The next thing you're going to need to do is adjust your camera's white balance. Now, if you're on an iPhone or an Android, you're going to have to use a third-party app to do that. Changing the white balance is going to change the warmth of the photo that you're going to get. So with the orange filter on there and the white balance adjusted, you're going to be able to replicate a photo that looks more natural to your eye while the actinics on your tank are on, like this. Now your phone's great. Your phone can take really good photos, but DSLR cameras are unfortunately still better. So this is why. On a phone, you only have so many megapixels, and even when you have an iPhone 15, for example, and you have your 48 megapixel RAWs, it's still using computational photography to produce that result. It's not actually taking a raw 48 megapixel photo. What it's most likely doing is taking a bunch of 12 megapixel photos and then focus stacking all those into a single 48 megapixel image. Now a camera like this is a Canon R6, this is a 24 megapixel camera, and with a macro lens on here and the orange filter, you're going to be able to get much closer to your subject when focusing, and you're going to produce a lot higher quality of an image, even though this is only 24 megapixels and not 48. If you want to get the best photos of your corals possible, you're going to want to use a mirrorless camera like this instead of your iPhone. Here's how professional photographers take photos of their coral. First, you're going to need a tripod. So in this case, we've got the Canon R6 MKII on a tripod mounted up. Next, make sure you have a fully charged battery. Now, this may seem like an unnecessary thing to say, but you need to make sure you're using quality SD cards. So this is the second Sabrent SD card that I've killed today while trying to make this video taking these photos. So please use a high-grade SD card. I would personally recommend that you use something like the Sony Tough series or the Pro grade cards. Those work really well as well, and they have a really good warranty. With this all set up, we've got our mirrorless camera. Let's power this bad boy on and let's take a look at what we can get. So with our camera powered on, we're almost ready to take our photograph. First, we need to make sure that the flow is off in the tank, which I've already gone ahead and done. Now we're gonna go back to our camera here. If we were just gonna take a normal photo, we would focus our camera like this. We would have it on an f1.8 aperture, a 1/250 shutter speed to get a nice crisp photo, and it would take our photograph. And when we go to preview this, it's gonna look like this. The foreground is in focus, however the background is completely out of focus, and that sucks. We want our photo to be in focus through and through. We want the same level of quality all throughout the photo. So how do we do that? First, let's go into our menus and let's turn on what we call focus bracketing. Now I'm on a Canon R6 MKII, so my focus bracketing is gonna be in the red menu on menu number 6. I'm gonna enable this, and I'm going to set this to take probably 80 photographs. I think that's gonna be plenty for our needs. So we'll set this to 80, and then I'm gonna set it to the highest level of detail, which is number 1, and I'm gonna enable these last 3 features. Now these last 3 features are really important. These are the composites. So if you're not using a composite image, you're gonna get 80 independent photographs, which you don't want. You want one photograph that has a composite of all the images which were taken. So with those settings, we should be good to go back. We're gonna go back to our camera. We're gonna go ahead and take a look and make sure our camera is in focus here. And then we're gonna let it rip. So now the camera's gonna take those 80 images. And now the camera's gonna take about 10 to 15 seconds to give us a composite image of all 80. So here's our final image. Let's preview it real quick and see how it turned out. So the foreground still looks pretty good, but the background is also in focus now. So here's what that looks like. As you can see, you can actually see the zooanthellae in the coral, which is pretty amazing, even from the foreground to the background. That's exactly what we were looking to achieve with our mirrorless camera here. Keep in mind, YouTube is also going to downgrade this footage a little bit. It's called encoding. It's going to make the image just a little bit blurrier. That way you can upload this to YouTube and it not take up like 20 gigs on YouTube servers. So the raw files do look a lot clearer than what you're seeing on your screen right now, even if you're watching in 4K. So now that you know the secrets of how the local fish stores get such good photos, if you have the ability to get a mirrorless camera like this one, that's what I'd recommend, with an 85B orange filter, such as one from Tiffen. It's nice and affordable at only about $27 for the filter. However, the camera and the lens are going to run you a lot more, unfortunately. If you can't afford the camera and the lens, no problem. Everybody has to start somewhere. Don't get down about that. You can use your smartphone. Your smartphone's still going to produce great results at the end of the day, and it's still going to be more than high enough quality for posting, especially if you're trying to sell your corals online. And a lot of people are used to their phone quality anyways, so a lot of people that are everyday people are going to look at that photo and not notice anything different about it. Really, the only people that are going to look at that photo and say, hey, you could take a better image than that, are probably going to be the people that have DSLR cameras, and not in every instance are the people that have cameras like this also going to be the people that are going to be buying your coral. So just remember that normal people probably aren't going to be able to tell the difference. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like below. I'd really appreciate it, and thank you so much for watching. Also, a little side note, I had my filter off that entire time, so everybody that's going to go in the comments and say, there's no flow in that tank. Yes, exactly, because the filter was off. It is now on. The torch corals, oh, not the torch corals, I don't have torch corals yet. The hammer corals that I got yesterday are flowing perfectly fine now.